Have you ever felt your energy getting drained as you were talking to someone? Or maybe they were talking at you. Even though they might be smiling, being nice, the weather is great, all these things are going fine, you're just starting to feel exhausted for no reason. That's not in your head. In today's video, I'll explain why certain people seem to drain your energy, what it really means, and how to shift that dynamic so you can stay peaceful and centered no matter where you are and who you're with. My name's Kathy, and for 25 years I've been working with women to own their energy and have more peace, prosperity, and presence in their lives, reduce exhaustion, and really stay connected to their own inner guidance. People have different energetic dynamics, and one of them is this thing we could call pulling energy. So they are actually energetically pulling on you. Now, they might not be doing this consciously, although they might. Think of a kid who really wants your attention. They are consciously pulling your energy. Right now, once we become adults, people can shift a little bit. They might not know that they're doing it. But it shows up, it can show up as constant talking, like incessantly complaining can be pulling energy, seeking reassurance, or even small comments that demand your attention. Usually it's not too aggressive, although sometimes it is. And after a few minutes, even if it's, pretty moderate, you start to feel tired and heavy and like, okay, almost like something's being taken from you. And this is where most people misunderstand what's happening. They immediately think, I need to protect my energy. And while that's kind of a natural response, that's not what's going to help you. Oftentimes also we'll be like, I need to get away, I need to create distance. Totally get it, because I'm a highly sensitive person. So here's the thing, protection alone is not necessarily the answer, because often what you're not feeling is someone attacking your energy. It's they are functioning from energetic and usually emotional lack, right? So it's like they have a void to be filled. And this could be, if you take the idea of a needy parent, like a needy mother, you never call me, this and that, right? They're functioning from lack. Or like a lot of salespeople, like, I need your business, I need it. So they would be pulling energy. And so I worked with this woman, we're going to call her Sandy. I never really use people's names unless they explicitly say use it. So she was looking for a new car here on Maui and went into one of the major car lots on the island. As she was talking with the salesperson, she sensed this dynamic. I teach a lot of my clients the dynamics of energy flowing. Within seconds, she started feeling like uncomfortable. If you think about it, now he was smiling, he was friendly, but he's operating from a sense of pressure and need. Like he is desperate for something from her. Now, in any situation where someone's desperate for something from you, you sense it, right? Like you're energetically aware and you'll sense that desperation in some way. So her energy started to go down. And this is where most people either power on, shut down, or try to move through it. Or even sometimes people get defensive, like standoffish, and or they try to leave quickly, which I have been known to do in the past. But when you know about energy flows, you don't have to do any of that. Instead of closing off, she stayed grounded in herself, sensed her connection to source, to herself, to her soul, if you wish, filled herself with that energy and offered it to him. Of course, not verbally, that would be really awkward, but just flushed him with energy, like a fire hose, actually, like a big hose. You're just giving and giving and giving and giving. And when she did that, she laughed when she told me the story later, because, when you're defensive, the other person pushes more. right? When you're just open and you're happy to give energy, what the other person does in general is they relax, they soften, they are no longer operating from a sense of neediness or desperation or any of that. He just then spoke to her as though she's a normal human and they're having normal human interactions. Imagine that. So she said what was so funny is she wanted this particular car, right? It was a small car and she's kind of a larger woman. He was pointing out like, well, you might not like this about it or this might not be good about it, instead of actually like trying to sell her on this car. He was really honest about the pros and cons and like what was great and what was not about this car. So her willingness to move with the energy shifted the entire dynamic of this interaction. So therefore, I'm going to invite you the next time you're around someone who feels draining, even if it's like at a family gathering or something like that, pause for a moment, take a breath, feel yourself like connected to the earth. You can often imagine like energy pouring into your head and then out from your chest. Okay, so it's like pouring in and you're offering it. You don't have to do that with your arms. And what will happen is you'll notice that you're calmer, more in control of your responses to the situation. And ultimately, without being a control freak or anything like that, the person who has more influence on the situation, if there are just two of you. Let me know how it is for you. It's pretty powerful because energy is meant to move, right? Energy moves. And so instead of like trying to protect your energy and not let it flow, just flow it. And it makes a big difference. I understand it's not easy for people to overcome draining situations, especially if it's someone you live with or someone you work with constantly, and these situations keep repeating themselves. So if you're struggling with this and would like some personal guidance on how to handle this kind of interaction and how to remain sovereign and connected to you, regardless of who's around and what's going on, click the first link in the description and I'll help you fix it. Okay? So now, what if that person's not actually draining you and the real reason you feel exhausted is because you disconnect from yourself and your own energy when you're around them? And I've seen this happen like almost on a daily basis with friends, and I watch interactions and stuff like this, could see it happening in people's energy. So the second crucial reason you feel drained is because you're not being fully honest with yourself or with them. So what does this mean? It means you don't have clear boundaries. And sometimes you don't need to articulate these. Sometimes they're more within yourself. Okay, I'll give you some examples. Let's say someone gives you an opinion that you don't agree with and you stay quiet. Okay? Or a person is talking to you and you're tired because you've just finished working a long day, and you don't tell them, hey, I'd love to listen to you, but now is not the time. Right? I need some space right now, kind of needing quietude and time just for me. Okay? That gap between what you feel and what you express will drain you. Okay? Because when we're not authentic, we're actually siphoning off energy and it's draining. It's kind of like holding a beach ball underwater, right? So if you love imagery, you may have seen or you may have tried to hold that ball underwater. Its nature is to pop up, right? So you can push it down, but it takes effort, a lot of effort. And ultimately, you get tired, okay? So there was this woman I worked with a while ago. She would stay on the phone listening to her friends vent, and she thought she was being kind, but really it was just draining her because afterwards she felt completely exhausted because she was not actually honoring her own needs. Like, oh, okay, I have 20 minutes to listen to you gripe about your husband. Maybe she wouldn't say it that way, but like, oh, okay, I've got 20 minutes. Tell me what's going on for you, right? So when we started to work together and we identified that this was a huge energy leak for her, we had her start asking, what do I need right now? Right? What do I need right now? And it might not have been always when she's on the phone. Sometimes it would be when she's in a party and there's a lot going on and she's a sensitive person. Okay, just tapping into, what do I need right now? Oh, I need to go outside for a breath of fresh air. Or I need to get off this call, and recognizing that and then being able to vocalize it. You know, at first, making changes like this are uncomfortable, right? It's out of the comfort zone, but we're expanding the possibilities here. So, you know, moving through the discomfort is super powerful. So what do I need right now? And that's the authentic voice, the authentic knowing, like, okay, I have to go get a glass of water and go take a moment for myself, go in the bathroom for a second. And the solution is not to push people away, but to start being real and start telling the truth to at least ourselves, right? And ultimately, hopefully them in some way. Being authentic is, they've done research and it's found that it is the highest frequency, even beyond positivity. Being authentic is the highest frequency. I need to go now. Let's talk later. They're simple words, but they create powerful shifts. Okay? And this ultimately return to authenticity and return to what's real again and again calms the mind, calms the nervous system. I mean, I've seen so many people doing other people's programs who are like learning all these nervous system reset kind of things, but they still go back to not being vulnerable and not being authentic. And so their minds and bodies keep getting triggered, because if you are doing all this surface level stuff to help your nervous system, but you're not actually functioning from a foundation of truth, the nervous system is going to keep getting reactivated. If you'd like me to share more useful ways you can just gently create boundaries, join my email list using the second link in the description. So now, if you're still feeling drained after creating healthy boundaries, there's one more thing that I want to address in this video, and that's a big one. It's probably ultimately the biggest. All right, one of the most often overlooked reasons why you're getting drained is because of you. Okay, it has very little to do with the other person. Okay, it's the resistance inside you. You're resisting how they talk, their sound, their voice, their action, whatever it is, right? How they behave. And this resistance is what's exhausting us, because resistance is pushing against life. And often it's the subtle things. It's not that something dramatic is happening. It's just that your mind is pushing against reality. Okay, so like, if life is giving you this and you're pushing against it, who's gonna win? You or life, right? if a door says pull and you're pushing against it, the more you push, the more stuck you feel, and the more frustrated you become. So this can happen in conversations. You're sitting there thinking, oh my God, when are they gonna stop talking? Or I don't like their attitude, or why do they have that opinion? Like, or they always say this, right? I've heard them say that 60 times. Okay, so that's resistance inside you. There's a conversation going on, yes, and you might not love what it is, but the battle is in here, right? And that internal fight is what's draining your energy. I had this client and she dreaded working with a certain coworker. Every time she had to interact with him, her body would tense beforehand. Before they even interacted, she was already getting drained. Her shoulders would tighten, right? This area would get super tense, and she would start preparing mentally for a conflict. And then by the time the conversation actually began, she already had tension and exhaustion and frustration and all of this just because of what was in her head, okay? Not because he was doing anything extreme. It was because of the resistance in her own stories, in her own nervous system. Yeah, by focusing on what had gone wrong in the past and projecting that, that would also be what happened in the future, okay? So then she took a different approach. She started to just observe. Instead of resisting how he would show up, which honestly was kind of abrasive, so oftentimes we get ready for that abrasive person, but instead of resisting, she practiced softening and allowing. And that doesn't mean agreeing with all of his points or his opinions or anything like that. She started to soften into like, okay, this is just our conversation right now. This too shall pass, right? It's okay. We're only interacting for a few minutes. Like, just helping soothe herself instead of push against. What happens when we do this kind of thing is so powerful, because your mental, like what's going on inside, can either make you tense or make you more at ease. So for her, as she started to tell herself a new story, right? Oh yeah, I've dealt with him before. It's not really a big deal. I'm not saying like allow him to do things that are totally inappropriate. Her body relaxed, her breathing slowed, and the interactions felt lighter because they were less emotionally draining, because she was no longer fighting what is. See, a lot of our problems come from fighting, pushing against what is showing up in our reality right now. Okay? Eckhart Tolle is one of my teachers. I was trained as a teacher of presence by him. Part of the practice is returning to now and dropping in and not having all this narrative about how life should be different or this person in front of you should be different. And when you do this, when you stop fighting reality, your energy naturally stays calm, present, here, and you don't get drained. Okay? So here's what I recommend. Stop trying to control the moment or push it away, telling yourself they should be different or this should be different, and stop trying to change that person in your mind while the interaction is happening. And I'm not saying that you should accept like inappropriate behavior. I just want to make that super clear. One of the metaphors I often use is like, if someone's standing on your toe, remember we're going back to those healthy boundaries, you can ask them to get off your toe, but you don't have to do it like, you're such a jerk because you're on my toe. It's just like, hey, guess what? You're on my toe. That doesn't work for me, right? Please step off. There's a difference between accepting things that are, violations. Okay, you can definitely take action to change things, but within a grounded, responsive space, not a reactive, and especially reactive due to the narrative you have inside that's causing you frustration and pain. Please let me know if you get that. I would love to hear your comments about that, and if that's super clear. If it's not, I can definitely make another video. So what I invite you to do is stay present and grounded in yourself, connected to your breath, connected to your heart, connected to the earth, because allowing doesn't mean agreeing. Allowing doesn't mean you have to approve. Allowing really just means you stop fighting reality in this moment. And that conserves energy. Therefore, the more you allow this life to show up as it is, the more energy you keep. Thanks for watching to the end, everybody. There is a video available for you It's really not about the person, it's really about the energy of the space that's draining your energy. So find that. It should be like queued up somewhere here. And I'll see you in the next video.